Welcome back to Open Line. We have with us Ron Kennedy. He is with the National Sons of Confederate Veterans. He's joining us via Zoom from Louisiana, talking about Confederate monuments and all of the controversy there. A bunch of calls. Let's go to Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Go right ahead.
Hello.
What is on your mind?
Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I appreciate you having me. I'd just like to read some facts out and let Ron say yes or no. The Union Army owned 71,000 slaves during the Civil War. Slavery still existed at the time of the Civil War in several northern states. The Emancipation Proclamation did not free anybody. Lincoln said, if you'll come back within the Union within 100 days, you can keep your slaves. I wish you would speak about the tariff of abominations, which put a 62% tariff on 80% of the goods of the South, and I think the North just wanted the South to pay for all government. The state that imported more slaves than any other state in the Union was Connecticut. During the time of the Civil War, the #1 industry in the state of New York was slave shipbuilding. Matter of fact, during the war, they were still importing slaves into the Caribbean. After the war, up northeast, they were still importing slaves, and I think it was Grant who told them they didn't quit it, they'd come up there and hang them. So this being really altruistic is uncalled for. By the way, if you've ever heard of Long Hunter State Park, which is in Antioch, right on the Laverne side of Nashville, that was a plantation that was one of the biggest plantations in the state, and the plantation owner was a black man. Only 6% of the southern people owned slaves. Buffalo soldiers.
There were thousands of slaves, though. I guess I get what you're saying, but what are you trying to?
Let me say this: the Buffalo soldiers, after the Civil War, helped the Northerners, the South, when everything they do, to go out and slaughter the American Indian, and you don't hear a word about that.
Well, okay, yeah. All right. I guess we're getting back to slavery. He wants to make the point that slavery was big in other parts, and the bottom line is that was what the war was about, for the most part. You may disagree with that, I guess, but if you read why they seceded, I mean, it talks about slavery, maintaining slavery, and if you want to try and sugarcoat that, I don't know how you do it, but you can respond to what he said.
You don't sugarcoat, you use the facts. The facts is Senator Thomas Hart Benton back in 1840 said that the South was being, the economy of the South was being destroyed by the North through their, as the caller just said, the tariff, these high memorial tariffs, for instance, the tariffs of abomination. This was the reason why the South, I mean, South Carolina.
And the fact they wanted to do away with slavery, which is a major economic machine in the South. I mean, wasn't it?
You know, you have the misconception that the South never wanted to get rid of slavery, that the South one would still have slaves today. But the truth of the matter is, and the truth which will never get out, is the fact that if it had not been for Yankee cultural distortion, the South would have freed its slaves by 1830. But no, the radical abolitionists came down and destroyed that. Prior to 1830, there were more abolitionist societies in the South than there was in the North. There was more emancipation of slaves in the South than there was in the North. It was so many that the fine Yankee states passed exclusion laws to forbid free blacks from coming into their state. As a matter of fact, Illinois, Lincoln's state, in the middle of the Civil War, passed an exclusion law to prevent free blacks from coming in to their fair state. You can shake your head, but that's the fact.
I mean, our position throughout is identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. That's what Mississippi said when they seceded. Texas said it, other states said it, and we have
Virginia
these things.
didn't say it, Arkansas didn't say it, North Carolina didn't say it. Come on,
but the vice president of the Confederacy said it in his speech when he represented all of them. So I mean, I can't believe we're still debating this. We debated it at the top of the show. That caller just kind of gets back to it. If what you need to do to keep these monuments up is to prove, in your view, that the Civil War or that war was not about slavery, that may be a losing cause. I mean, don't you think? Is that what you feel you have to prove? Is that war was not about slavery?
No, I don't. I don't feel like I need to prove that. I don't need to prove anything to anyone to justify my heritage. Now, I would love for people to understand my heritage. I would love for them to listen to me and to read books that we write and to look at videos that we put on. But to say that the war was all about slavery and these monuments are all about slavery is just postmodern propaganda, claptrap. Hey, listen, the first black sharpshooter in the United States military history was a fellow named Hope Collier from Mississippi, and he fought for the Confederacy. You know, we had a lot of trouble in the Confederacy with runaway slaves. The Confederate Congress had to pass a law about it. They were running away from the plantation and joining the Confederate Army.
Okay.
They weren't.
All right. So you're saying they wanted. You're saying they wanted to be slaves, I guess, is what you're saying there. All right.
No, they were fighting for their family, their homes. When those plantations were destroyed, they lost the place where they got their food, their shelter, their clothing, their medical supply. When Lincoln was asked by Vice President Stevens, the guy you like to quote so much, asked Lincoln at the Hampton Road Conference, what's going to happen to these black people when we get rid of this plantation? You know what your fine president said? Let them root hog or die.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. I hope we can get to more calls. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.